last week in scrims on this map. So having her banned away, that's, just Humble sort of saying, we don't really want to have that first picked against us. We don't have a great answer to it in general. This obviously is the kind of map where you want to try and draft a pretty good side laners and have staying power. Mina allows for that to some degree with that wind wall gadget. She's also great at pressuring down if someone's trying to play a thrower or they're trying to play, someone who's less mobile in a side lane who's just trying to vomit damage. So there's a lot of opportunities to punish like overly aggressive first picks here. I think that in SA, this Bounty Hunters squad are really good when it comes to their drafts. So my issue has never really been there for them. They've been very, very solid. I don't often see them get outdrafted. I think they outdrafted the pants off Loud last time they actually faced. And that's a team you'd expect with the resources and coaching staff wouldn't have a weakness there. So I wouldn't be worried about that from them. It's really stage jitters and the execution that we're going to be scrutinizing.
What I always love about those international events is that we get to see different metas from each of the region. Of course, they've mingled over the last 2 weeks, and the metas have gotten closer together, like East Asia maybe brought in a new idea that EMEA took over, and so on and so forth. At the same time, we did see still in the past some specials, like for example our SA special Juju in the past. I wonder what it's gonna be this weekend. We always know NA as a super aggressive region. EMEA has adapted that as well because the current meta is all about assassins and tanks.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I even posted a meme the other day when it's like a new brawler comes out, make it mythic, make it an assassin. Pretty much kind of like how the how the dev team is these days. But you mentioned experience, Uber, and being calm and collected on stage, and that is for me my little reservation when it comes to Bounty Hunters, because, certainly Prosy is the most experienced player on this squad. Didn't have the best of showings in the World Finals last year, went out in the group stages, and similarly at LCQ in 2023, didn't reach it really out of that group stage. And Wesley, his last showing was at the World Finals in 2022, losing in that first round of the bracket to Tribe Gaming EU.
Paris, right? He was on the Zest roster.
Zest Latam. So this is where I really want to kind of see how Bounty Hunters approach their headspace. Their drafts, I really, really like. I think for me, it's going to come down to, like you say, those kind of stage jitters and if they're able to keep them at bay.
I also think that they are going up against a team that has very talented individuals. And if you allow Humble to, as the series goes on, if you allow Humble to draft like Chester and Ruffs, like two really solid brawlers, it's going to be tough to get the better of them. No surprise here to see the votes are 83% for Humble to 17% for those of you at event.brawlstars.com. If you haven't got your predictions in, got your votes in, or just honestly set up on that site to make sure you earn yourself some rewards over the course of the weekend, I strongly recommend you make that your home base for all things Brawl Cup.
Take the hints, guys. Take the hints. We strongly recommend that you stay glued to that site. You'll thank us for it later.
So far, EMEA and East Asia has had the greatest success from all of the regions in any global event. We have 3 world winners of EMEA, 3 world winners of East Asia. Now, you already kind of set that up today. We want to see NA and SA take over, and this would be the first chance. If Bounty Hunters truly fell a giant like Humble, that's going to be huge.
Yeah, it will resonate for sure. And, I kind of mean, but I also do have a lot of high hopes for Only Realm. But we've got to talk about Tribe Gaming a little bit too, because as a team from North America that have been a bit of a sleeper, the competition has been getting so increasingly difficult in that region specifically. Last year at Brawl Cup, it was abysmal for Tribe Gaming. It was like their worst performance to date. So that is going to be in the back of their minds too as an organization. They do need to put those demons at rest. And I've got a lot of faith in Killer's abilities when it comes to draft and how Tribe are experimenting, I think in just the right amounts too. Not too much, not too crazy and wacky, but enough to take teams by surprise.
I feel like they've been building up ahead of steam coming into this tournament. Kenny as well, like he put like a video up. He was talking about his predictions, right? He had his teams in like S tier, A tier, whatever. He also had Tribe in that S tier. Felt like this is probably the time for them to really show up and show out. Because remember how their World Finals ended? It was 2 double match point scenarios that they lost that ended up having them knocked out of the tournament up against what was Humble and Crazy Raccoon. And so like you are going up against the very best and you are almost getting there. I really felt like they were just on the outside looking in. Now last Brawl Cup, it was Loud. Unfortunately, Loud fell on the wrong side of the narrative because they were the team that got beat by Toxic Lotus on their Cinderella run to finally propel themselves into a top 4. So they're the ones that, kind of look bad in that scenario, but it was a really close series. It went to all 5 sets. That was a team I feel like that is, it's been a long time since, was it 2021 finals run from INTZ? I mean, yeah. So it's
Bucharest, baby.
We have. Yeah, I was in a TV box. I was
You
at
were.
that event at the time. So that's going back a long time. It's been ages since we've really seen South America stand up. And last year we got to see some of the younger blood, right? We also saw, the same torchbearers, the loud guys, Adinho and stuff like that. We also saw Pekka and Jubileo, Motep on that. I think it was Pioneers, with that event, or Elevate, I'm not sure. They're still around, right? Still good to see some of those over the course of this year, but this is the roster of the non-Brazilian players out of South America, the youngsters that are really hungry, and I expect to see them deliver. Just maybe not in this particular game. This is just very tough.
We're going to find out very, very soon as the players are getting ready to start the draft. Yeah, but I would definitely advise all the viewers here in this hall and also at home to keep an eye out for the Chinese rosters, the SA West, and of course NA and SA. These are the regions that we still want to see perform super, super well also on a global level. By the way, we're here in the Uber Eats hall, 4,500 seats at max capacity, and we are completely sold out. That is insane.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I'd love to see that. It's kind of awesome to come to a pretty iconic venue here in Berlin. We're right in the heart of it. We're across from the Uber Arena as well. We're on Uber Platz. It's all about me this weekend, guys. So
it is. You are the main character energy right now.
It was a lot better when he was on TV, and you can always just turn off the TV.
That was a good time.
Talking smack. She was in the audience. She was in the 2021.
Well, we were all there.
I was on site, though.
In one way or another, right?
They wouldn't let me out of the country, guys, all right? They needed me. My people needed me.
It was better time, you're right.
Looks like we are getting our draft ready, and we're kicking things off
Straight off the
with
bat.
Ruffs. Such a solid pick. You can never go wrong with this brawler, especially not dueling beetles, where you might want to break open the map. Because I see Pierce is left open. We have Luki on Humble. That is a must pick for them, especially, if they can break open the map now. Let's see if Humble will pick up that Pierce on their side.
Yeah, with Lumi out of the picture here, you might be forced to go in a Pam direction if you're, bounty hunters. Obviously, we've got the team logos flipped here, so we'll get them fixed for you in just a moment. Red side is bounty hunters, blue side is Humble. So the series is picked up here. They have only managed to sort of win 1 in 4 of their scrims on this map with Sirius. Sirius obviously is a lot squishier than he used to be. A drastic reduction in health, actually very similar to how Lumi first got nerfed when she was in the game. She used to have close to 10k health and was putting out this amount of damage. They brought that down by 40% or so. And we get the Kenji mixed in amidst this. So bit of an all-in. Definitely, someone who wants to try and threaten the backline. It can be good against Rust, but there's a lot of stopping power still available to you in this draft.
Got to be Pierce, like Sunny says for me. I mean, having the ability to break that side is going to allow Pierce to get much more range value in. And again, as time goes on, those supply drops can then just make those snipe shots pack so much more of a punch. Sometimes a Pam can make an appearance on this map, but again, with that Ruffs now in play, the opening of the map is certainly a concern. So having ranged Chester coming through, two brawlers you mentioned coming in that they cannot get on the side of Humble, and they've been able to establish it. So Chester going to be that kind of insurance policy with the Pierce. I mean, Humble have got exactly what they want, right? This is crazy.
Why are we not trying to target them?
This was a must pick for the side of Humble, and Chester can also break open the map, of course, if he gets his right super.
Wild.
Now, I hope Bounty Hunters on the right side did their homework, and they know Humble must have wanted to pick up that brawler. I'm so surprised that they didn't pick up hers themselves to make sure that Humble doesn't get their hands on it. It looks like they have another plan. Now, what is that plan, I wonder? Bo is going to come in. He's all right. He's bringing in that range that they were lacking so far, especially on a wide open map with Sirius and Kenji. You usually want those walls to stay.
Might allow Sirius to get off the mark a bit better as well, but I just kind of worry. You got to hope that Bounty Hunters are intending for this to be the case for Humble to get their picks. But as we're going to head over to the casting desk and see how the match plays out.
Thank you very much, Ark. Welcome in, everybody. I know Humble is ready to go. The audience, big and loud. I'm Kenny. Joined with me, Trav. We'll be one of your 2 dynamic duos this weekend. South America, been starved for success for a long time, and now they take on the defending champions, your Brawl Cup reigning champs. Humble versus Bounty Hunters, and right off the middle, Prosy going up a takedown immediately. Luki playing one of his most iconic brawlers. This man is fierce with the Pierce.
Yeah, very early Pierce super and finds a connection on Prosy, which is going to keep him low in the meantime and keep this percentage ticking. for Humble. Power up already provided as well, and Portox not having the best of times in this long-ranged affair on the right. Chester through the mid, still getting the desired percentage.
That early wall break's going to let Lukey have a lot of space to operate, and now Portox is trying to branch out, do anything he can, but he's outranged, outgunned. Chester just going to take him down. Hypercharge going down early. It's a near team wipe off the rip.
I mean, this is exactly how we expect it to go. The guys on the analyst desk touched on it. This is the 3 brawlers that Humble want, and you've given it to them in the first set. A big break coming down from Boss as well. Hypercharge drop provided, and Semantic is going to be thanking him for that.
No shocker whatsoever in terms of team composition. Nobody seems to be able to encroach, move up the middle of the map. Now Rocket Rain terrorizing the right-hand side as Wesley, Portox try and migrate, but the distance just can't be met. Pierce is so good from these long terms. Semantic has enough to gun him down. Portox finally starting to be an issue, but immediately eradicated. Just nothing from Bounty Hunters right now.
Yeah, Prosy forced to use those shadows as well to tank the Pierce Super and stay alive. But Humble, as soon as they get pushed back, they bounce back just as fast, straight back onto the mid, and only 15% needed now. Hypercharge comes down. Wesley's going to be able to evade that nicely, but it's covering that entire left-hand side, and the only one with a pathway through is going to be Prosy at the moment, and he's too low to contest. Portox with the super on the left-hand side, they clean up, and there's a bit of a lifeline for Bounty Hunters.
Botham a beat. Now Wesley and Prosy occupying the middle of the map. This boss rotates to this left-hand side. Portox in hot pursuit. Take down there. Wesley a goner for this world, and now 90% in climbing. Semantic roughly standing still, just dancing in the middle of the map. The Mad Hatter untouched in an early game victory for Humble.
Just the start they'll have wanted, and the crowd support already behind them on home field. A couple of German players here as well, going to be having the support. Bit of a taste of their own medicine as to what we saw in LCQ last year with some of the South American fans. Into game number 2. I'm expecting this to be just as easy for Humble. They started so strong, and you expect them to carry on.
It's just a great composition. They've got the long range, they've got the wall break option, an early gadget for pressure. They send Semantic up the middle of the map. If Kenji dares to go at them, they can just rotate this brawler onto them. Prosy, though, doing a great job. Until this wall break goes through, if they feed Boss, that's where the real issue starts. So until then, Bounty Hunters have to give themselves as much of a head start as possible.
Yeah, an undeniable better start for Bounty Hunters, but I don't think it's meaning too much at the moment. They've quite clearly moved that Kenji over to the left-hand side to face off against the Roughs in early doors instead of the Pierce, who was handling him so well. But now it's Wesley's turn to face off against this Lukey Pierce, and I don't think anybody's going to enjoy that matchup.
Boss rounding the corner, and there goes the dog treat. Going to open up the top right-hand side of the map. A dive in the air. The Sashimi slash grabs 1. There's 1 kill. Now a 2. Prosy has assistance from the extra spawner, so they're going to occupy the middle of this map for now. Significantly better, I would say, Bounty Hunters in terms of adjustments. They didn't let Boss get that super early, but this is where it's going to be the ultimate test. Oh, and an immediate reversal of a team wipe. Crowd already on its feet.
I mean, percentage-wise, it's looking great for Humble now. Just taking the lead, full control to them as well. 3 members of Bounty Hunters pinned back in spawn, and a Hypercharge ready to go for Lukey. Just popping it for the raw stats now. Can't be too far off super, but hasn't managed to find it just yet. There's another Hypercharge drop being placed as well, and Semantic already has one in hand. He's probably going to wait until he can get a super and use that before going for it.
Brawl Star's good as boy, just providing so many dog treats for his allies. Wesley going to be sucked onto this right-hand side, not going to be able to move a muscle. I mean, Humble hardly moving a muscle at all. It's just Lukey tip-tapping down South America's finest. Another Hypercharge for good measure, and the defending champions of Brawl Cup suck hot.
Humble doing their best to right the wrongs of the April monthly final. Bounty Hunters, a huge mountain to climb in front of them here, and I don't think that's the way they'll have want to started this international competition here in Berlin. Real tough for them, and I think the majority of them going to have to put down to the draft, but they were outplayed too.
It just from start to finish was all Humble, and I think the analyst desk, us caught on immediately. There's just so many pluses for this Humble composition. It's a very stereotypical look to Humble, and just in terms of 1v1 matchups, I mean, look at this. We've got Chester, immediately can take on a Kenji. The burst damage, that's why he's an anti-tank. That's why you're going to see him be drafted so early. This 6-pick Pierce outranges every single one of the enemies, especially when this wall break goes down. It's just open season for Lukey, and you all know what this guy can do on the Pierce. He's unbelievable, one of the best in the world. I just didn't love the gameplay, and obviously the execution's a lot harder to make happen when you don't have a draft to set yourself up.
I mean, it's worrying where you kind of forced to swap lanes in something you don't want to do. Yes, it worked a tiny bit better. Game 2 was, I think they had a little bit more of a foot in the door compared to Game 1, but stat-wise, it speaks for itself. The result, 6-3-8. Obviously, Lukey popping off on what seems to be his favorite brawler. Over the other side, Prosy, Portox, and Wesley not looking too too good. 0 on that bow. And I mean, in the second game, who can blame him? He's being forced onto that Pierce matchup, which he's not going to be enjoying. But really disappointed to see those scorelines earlier.
Stat lines tell the story as well. I mean, just nothing going the way of bounty hunters. And I think sometimes when you get outdrafted first time on the stage, today at least, warming up, getting the muscles a little loose, it happens. But you can't afford mistakes like that. South America is a region desperate to try and cling on to some success. It's been a very rough go of it since 2021. We had INTZ way back in the day. We had Loud last year, but there's this huge sandwich of years in between where this region has not taken away any hardware. Now moving on to our next map here, we were just at Dueling Beetles. We're gonna be hopping into Hot Potato. Otis, somebody I was keeping an eye out on. Colonel Ruffs, like we mentioned, a fan favorite for something like Humble. They're gonna go ahead and throw it out. Early claim of that wall break, some extra DPS from that cult. Stereotypical start.
Yeah, it's great to have. No surprise them seeing banning out that Ruffs as well over the right-hand side. A brawler that you don't want to be facing after just being absolutely destroyed by on a map like Hot Potato. So as you say, I like the cult pick, bringing in that wall break early on, probably the best wall break / DPS you're going to get on a map like this. And I think they need to kind of play this a little bit differently, break the map, sculpt it to how they want, because in the previous one, it was night and day, and Humble would dominate.
Certainly going to make them rethink this, as now the left-hand end is going to claim Lily. And especially in the face of a wall break like that, that's very interesting. It's not that Lily is uncommon, but obviously Lily benefits from lurking in the shadows, in the bushes, disappearing to that shadow realm, and it's just purely going to be a matchup favor up close. But if these walls come down, definitely a trickier way to go about it.
I mean, I actually don't mind the Lily, to be honest with you. I think, like, it's a brawler where you obviously just pop your gadget, walk up to the safe, get that damage, and that's your entire job. Yes, you might pick up a few kills on the way, get your hypercharges, and use those really convincingly as well. So I think it's solid. Carl going to come in as well. It's just one of those versatile brawlers. No matter what gadget you're going to be using, going to be fairly decent. And, you know, it has a say in the majority of matchups.
With this Otis being banned out and now seeing the face of a Lily, typically anti-tank is sometimes where these teams are going to go. I would say the most stereotypical in the meta right now, at least for this map, would be Nita and Chester, but alongside a Colt, definitely makes their jobs a little trickier. More mid-range options. Chester, of course, with the burst damage does well into Lily, but it's not necessarily a special for something like Hot Potato. So I'm curious to see what this right-hand side does with this, because it's a really interesting one, too.
Yeah, well, Edgar showing up.
Love the applause.
It's been a while since we've seen these show up, and in the past, they're either very decisive. It's kind of picked as a last when it's going to be absolutely perfect, but it's a brawler that's just so strong at the moment after those changes, and it's a brawler you've got to be incredibly scared of. So I wouldn't want to be bounty hunters at the moment, looking in the face of that. And the thing is as well, because they didn't go range on the side of bounty hunters when they see the Colt, they've gone pretty short range, pretty mid-range. You know, Humble can still just kind of play at whatever distance they want, regardless of sculpting the map to that longer range.
This right side adds Melody as well, which is mid-range, but especially good for Heist. The musical notes can rotate, get onto that Heist safe. I'm really interested to see what this left-hand side does, though, because as far as counters go into Edgar and Melody, a lot of times I think you would instantly see a Bull or something like that as a shotgun brawler up in the faces of enemies, can dive forward, does Heist safe damage. But in this instance, now there's wall break, and I think you just have to be extra cautious of that. Otherwise, we're going to see something similar to that first set, where Colonel Ruffs would get a wall break, something like a Pierce from the long distance would just get free shots, free supers. So I think this is two very contrasting strategies, and they just have to commit to that anti-tank at some point, and that's where Chester's going to come into play.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Chester's a brawler, as you say, that's going to be good against those tanks, that more aggression, but still is going to have a bit of a say in a lot of matchups at mid, longer range. If you're going to be able to, you know, evade some shots and get in the face of the Colt, you're going to be doing just fine. With Edgar and Melody, they're both going to be coming directly towards you anyway, so you've just got to make sure that you've got the desired supers and those heavier hitting shots when they do come towards you.
Two very different strategies. Bounty hunters already on the back heels. Humble, to be expected, are coming out swinging. They may have flopped in the previous month, but this is a team that shows up on the land stage. Perosi, Wesley, and Bortox got their hands full. Now Semantic straight up the middle of the map. He's going to disappear, pop up. They're not even going to worry about him on defense. They're just going to fully commit this 3v2.
I mean, to be honest, a base race is probably the best of their ideas against a team like Humble, but a great defense so far. Luki's going to be able to clean up too, and it leaves just Portox alone. Bomb comes through, and I think he probably was trying to get the hit there, but a bit of wall break along that portion of the map. It's not going to be the worst thing when you're against the Edgars and the Melodies. Luki coming through has the nice little rage Chester. He'll get a couple of shots in, and Boss back into this aggressive stance once more. Semantic might be forced to defend, but a hypercharge from Boss and a bit more damage from the gadget too.
Could have been better. I mean, kept him alive a little bit longer, but nonetheless, it applies more pressure. They can still maintain this positioning, because now Semantic once again pops out of the Shadow Realm, battling with Portox, dives in. The musical notes will get the final blow as Wesley from the long range works with the 6-shooter. Luki, all things considered, he's a very mid-range brawler. He's holding his own quite well.
Yeah, Luki's You know, he's used his super, but he's forced one of Portox's dashes out of the way, which is going to make it a bit more difficult for him to get to the safe, get out. In comes the Edgar now. There's going to be another crack, but it's actually the first one for them. Portox will follow suit and try and get some damage too. Has the hypercharge now, but just takes the crack for the moment. And Semantic needs to get this done up top because that damage is raining in for BH.
Prosy just puppy guarding the safe. Meanwhile, work being done up top. Now it's about even. A dive in, a disappearance act from Semantic because he's going to pop out at a moment's notice. They have no idea where he is. Lily hypercharge makes contact. No kill as Carl up top above the realm keeps chipping away at this high safe. Incendiary raining down and Humble take another.
I mean, yet again, goes as expected, but I really like what Bounty Hunters are doing.
100%.
You're not better than Humble. We know this coming into this competition. Humble are the reigning champions. They have won a world championship. Like, you're not going to be the better team coming into this one. You've got to pick some questionable brawlers, well, not questionable, really aggressive ones, something that's going to throw a spanner in the works, and just go for a base race at this point.
Operating on pure chaos as we see the exact same strategy from Semantic, right up the gut. Chester fully operational on defense, an insta-kill there. I would say that certainly favors Humble. At the bottom of your screens here, off screen, it's going to be about 75%. One more tap, they will penetrate that 25% threshold, which is huge for the Humble side.
Yeah, a little slow comes through there from Boss as Wesley will pop that gadget. He's just going to keep him here for now. Luki will go around and pick that one up, but through the middle, Prosy comes jumping on in and finds a kill. Little gadget there as well from the Carl before he went down, and pretty much even Stevens at the moment in terms of percentage. A narrow 1% lead for Humble, but it's pretty much a 50-50 of who's going aggressive and who's not.
Much more back and forth pacing in this one as Wesley releases a super. No real contact though. Gonna keep Boss alive as he's multitasking. Oh, and look at the young man work. A double kill there. Just leaves Edgar and now Chester in a much more manageable situation.
I mean, that was their chance, and they say no on the defense. Brilliant stuff from Humble yet again. Semantic popping a gadget, going aggressive. Portox probably can't defend this on his own without a super and will go down. The other two members of Humble joining them up top. Here comes the hypercharge from Boss. Prosy forced to defend, and he will fall too.
Great resource allocation as well. They're taking turns with the hypercharges as now this ice invulnerability will wear off, and immediately Humble wiped them away. 2-0 start. SA has to wake up, otherwise they're going to be down to their final life on just day number 1 for this squad.
I mean, this is the thing. As I said, they're expected to come here and lose, right? They're playing for this other group stage match. That's going to be the big decider in this group. So I like what they're doing. Go Edgar, go these melodies, the more unpredictable brawlers who can just go towards that safe base race them. But it was just moments of just incredible gameplay from Humble. Boss getting a couple of defenses, Humble getting a couple of, Luki getting a couple of 2v1 defenses that really make or break these games from Humble. And just luckily for them, they both went their way.
This felt very winnable. The first one, to me, never felt like they had a chance just based on the draft. And that's easy in hindsight, obviously, but in this one, it felt like a much more fair fight, if you will. I think the execution from Humble was just phenomenal, though. You can see it here. I mean, 9 frags, 8 frags. I love the rotation there. They absolutely used Chester in the best way possible. Not typical for Hot Potato, but as an anti-tank option, or just anti-aggro in this point, one of Chester's mainstays is the burst damage that he does. If Melody wants to get up close to that high safe, if Edgar wants to get up close, that's one of the better ways that they could have countered that.
Yeah, incredible stuff, really, from Humble. Just managing that aggression super well. And as I said, there was a couple of those 2v1 defenses that just made all the difference in a set like that. That could have quite easily, if they don't pick up those kills, and, it's 100%, it's not luck, it's skill. They're winning those 2v1s, but if just one of those matchups goes a different way, they're getting base race, they're getting beaten, and it's a totally different scoreline.
Boss had a phenomenal moment there. We saw him with roughly, 2,000 HP or so, has one extra gadget, a flying hook available, goes for the dagger and just a double kill there, just silencing SA. Such a tough beat here. Humble expected to win. I think many, including myself, kind of wrote this as a 3-0. I'm not going to speak for the rest of the team, but this to me feels like a Humble that I'm not scared of. Despite falling short in the previously monthly finals, when push comes to shove, Semantic, the only thing as one of the most decorated, if not the most decorated pro in EMEA history, is to add more hardware to the shelf. This is where they're going to come to shine. They felt confident in conversations with them coming into this week. They know what it takes on this stage, and for Bounty Hunters, they got a little experience on the roster, right? They've done good in the past. They're obviously #1 in their region, but against a global titan like this, it's just different.
Well, I like the Leon, super strong at the moment as well. Obviously, Lollipop drop providing a bit of a speed boost, really solid. And Leon just a great brawler all around. Assassin and aggression is what they're going to go with, it seems. But, I mean, as a first pick, I like it. It's been, it's going to be banned out quite frequently on a lot of maps throughout this weekend. So having that slip through and getting that early on, I like it.
Can't blame him at all, especially with the Lollipop drop. You especially get some extra speed going around for the squad. Colonel Ruffs, a very stereotypical pick on this left-hand side. I think overall in the meta, it also counters so many things really well between the sandbags. It can apply pressure if you choose to use the other gadget where the rockets just rain from the skies and pour out. I think this is just a safe pick as well. I mean, especially at professional level compared to maybe your average Joes like me, they're going to get the absolute maximum value out of a Colonel Ruffs dog treat. Just powering up your teammates. If they don't die, you just continue to have extra HP, extra damage. It's a free, essentially, solo showdown buff if you pick one up.
I mean, this is the thing for me, Ruffs as well. As you mentioned, Sandbag's going to be able to do a great job against so many brawlers, Leon being one of those. So when you know you're going to be facing off against that really aggressive brawler, you're kind of feeding non-stop supers to the Ruffs, who's providing them to his teammates and buffing them up. You're going to not probably get the kills because of the Sandbags. And then they're going to add a Kenji to this as well for a bit of aggression of their own.
Really scared for this right-hand side right now. I think Meeple's kind of an impossibility at this point, which would be a stereotypical, I would say, mid at this point in the game. But Colonel Ruff's sandbags completely block that out. They need anti-take, but Chester, Crow, Otis, all gone. So they're just completely zagging in another direction. Buster's certainly not something I see regularly.
Yeah, it's not something we've seen in a good amount of time. It had its moment in the spotlight in Brawl Esports, probably last year sometime, to be honest with you. But at the moment, it's not the best. I said in the last couple of drafts, you've kind of got to do things a little bit differently. And as you said, it's quite a big zigzag, changing things up. And they're just like, you know what? We can't beat him normally. Let's just go Poco tank.
Yeah, but for Pinhole Punk, this is so interesting because I feel like the damage just isn't quite there for this right-hand side. I think an interesting choice for the left-hand end. If they decided to go something super beefy, I think they could handle it. I mean, just having Kenji and another brawler absorb the shots, maybe it's not the most traditional goal scorers or composition, but I really do think health points might be the solution for this left-hand end.
Yeah, it would make sense. As you say, they don't have massive DPS. They've got the sandbags in here as well. So it leaves a big gap open. Ruffs can play the mid, but they're actually going to go with a Sirius instead. Against the aggression of the Buster, you're going to be printing so many of those clones, the shadows, Poco as well. Not really going to be able to hide too much, so should be able to get a good few shots on those. I like the Humble comp again. I mean, obviously coming into this one, they're going to be big favorites, but I see this as a 3-0.
Yeah, Buster, Leon, Poco, it isn't stereotypical for this map or this mode. I mean, they had to get creative. You got to do that, especially when you're the underdog. But this is Humble we're talking about. If you're not going at least 50-50 on the draft, you are a goner. There's no way. They're too good all around. But nonetheless, Bounty Hunters will have to find a way to win. This is only their opening match of the day. Still plenty of time for recovery, but they're going to have to act quick.
I mean, that's the best way to start. Killing that over-aggressive Kenji nice and early and getting this bush control is exactly what Bounty Hunters need. Boss still pinned back and spawn, but tanks a few of those shots with the shield. And the bounce back from Prosy is there for now. Pinned in this kind of top left, trying to get a few heals here and there. Gadget popped, everything popped, but can't stay alive. Moving this ball to the right-hand side now, and more heals being provided by Wesley.
This Wesley and Prosy composition here of Poco just enabling Buster. He's almost like hurting the enemy side. He's been putting him in a corner. Oh, and now surprise hypercharge going to come out. They're going to have no idea this is coming as he was straight up in the grass. Supply drop going down, 3v2 situation. Semantic left all alone. Bounce shot goes in. Portox there to protect, and Bounty Hunters finally with the response.
I mean, that's the first sign of life we've seen for them in quite some time. Humble not looking too good for now, but as maybe they can get a few more power-ups here and there and take them in the long game. Prosy gonna have some great HP on the right-hand side. Portox hypercharge on the right now and does pop a super, trying to go super aggressive on Boss here. Super available for Boss as well, so can evade some of those shots. Lukey just peppering Prosy down, keeping him low. Semantic, the same on Wesley on the left, but they haven't really left their half yet.
Now Humble marching up the left-hand side of the map, dribble to the left-hand end. Prosy with a nasty pull, though. Supply drop going down on the right-hand side, but if they play their cards right, a rush up this right-hand end will be enough. A dunk in the middle, and Portox gets his squad a win.
I mean, the best way to do it, like Humble didn't even seem in that game. This feels like a reverse of what we've been watching at the moment. Really good stuff from Bounty Hunters here. Just overwhelming amounts of HP and aggression is really proving difficult for this Humble composition to deal with.
Reflecting on this as well, they don't really have a lot to punish the Leon invisibility. There wasn't something like a Crow available to them, and it's not like they're going to pick a Gene or something that is fanning shots on this map. So Leon kind of gets away scot-free. Kenji's going to have to just get right up in his face if he wants a chance to tag him. Semantic's going to have to get a lucky bounce. Once again, left-hand in, Boss goes down immediately. The trade goes through. Wesley has a super available. He's debating this, though. Looking at this ball, going to leave it be for now. Semantic goes for the wall break, an extra spawner, and Humble's defense will hold firm.
Yeah, just needs to get control of this bush. I feel like that's what they were lacking in the last game. You get pushed back once and you're never able to reclaim it, especially when Semantic's not breaking it up. kind of broke quite a lot of his home region with that first power-up. And Prosy forced to pop a bit of a defensive shield here rather than going on the offense. Now some of this grass will come down, and Semantics growing into the game.
Oh, and now Prosy with a little breakaway. Boss trying to manage it all. Not a great multitasking brawler, though. A kick over to Wesley. A walk through. Barely has enough to punch it in the net. South America's superstars waking up.
Couple of supers available from Humble now. Super there from the Kenji, but he'll get pulled straight back in on landing. Hypercharge being popped now, and a poke will throw that one out. Semantic trying his best to defend, but from the right, Portox finds it, and Bounty Hunters have a set out of nowhere.
An unorthodox set from the fellas, but it worked so well. The Buster gameplay was unreal. The awareness you have to have of playing just that middle section of grass, being fully aware that Sirius has clones that can scout you out. Even if they clone something like a Poco, it's just insta shots just being spammed at you. There's nowhere to hide, but they played those gadgets really well. The Lens Flare to march themselves up several times up this map as well. It was a great hybrid of a brawler that's not typically overly aggressive, but I thought they did such a good job of claiming the Humble brawlers.
I mean, you can hear Boss there as well. He's like, I just can't do anything. Like, clearly outdrafted in this one, Humble, and outplayed at that as well. I don't think they got out of their half, to be honest with you. Maybe they did once. I think it was, as I was saying, they haven't left the half. They kind of left the half, but other
We
than
have that
that
effect.
Absolutely all Bounty Hunters here, and there's some signs of life showing. It's going to require an entire reverse sweep, so it's a big, big ask and a huge mountain to climb, but they've started it.
Certainly shame on me. I mean, I really didn't expect this outcome here. I mean, if it ends up being a 3-1, close enough, but nonetheless, I mean, Bounty Hunters finally showing what a solid draft on their end can do. They can contest. I mean, these brawlers in the Humble end, if you look at it, Sirius, very mainstream brawler. Colonel Ruff's a regular for them. Kenji, I go back and forth on. I think it just depends on where you pick him up, especially if it's earlier on in the draft. It gives the other team plenty of time to respond. This is going to go a little bit further than I thought it was at a bare minimum. We're heading over to Knockout, Bell's Rock. Bounty Hunters still with a fighting chance.
Absolutely, still requires 2 in a row, so it's going to be tough, but it is a possibility now. I think everybody would have expected Humble. I know you said you didn't want to speak for anybody else, but I'm with you. I think I thought this was going to be a 3-0. We kind of questioned the draft a little bit in there as well. Bans are in, obviously, in addition to the global bans. We have the Leon, the Gene, and the Rico from the side of Bounty Hunters. For Humble's side, I guess it's flipped, but on the opposing side, the Kit, the Mina, and the Ruff's going to be banned out too.
Free square for the right hand in. I mean, Pierce is going to be a natural brawler that I think comes up at the top here, especially the first overall, given the bans. But I will say, especially considering the global ones that we've got, they're really going to have to dig deep. I think it's been one of the biggest traits of what we've gotten from this global ban stage change. I mean, there can be up to 10 brawlers from the pool. I mean, a little less than around 10%, if you will, given our total brawler count at this point. Goodness gracious, we're well over 100, aren't we, Trav? That's a crazy thought to have. But at this point, they're really going to have to go for some more unusual picks, I would say, and that's where the scrims come in handy. Brock, one of those that I think they just want to have the wall break control in their hands if they elect to use it, and if not, they can go with rocket laces, bounce away if they've got an overly aggressive brawler. Plenty of combinations left.
Yeah, it's something you think about towards the later stage of the game, you know, with those gadgets, depending on what kind of route you need to take, whether you need to get away from some more aggressive brawlers that the Bounty Hunters side could bring in. So I like that. You're able to sculpt the map if you want, or, as you say, kind of take those rocket laces and jump away if not. Edgar's still very much on the board as well if they do want that aggression, and there's a scary prospect at the moment.
Curious which direction they go. Ooh, Jae Young. So I would say that's one that we mentioned that's not at the tippy top of our meta right now, but a professional scene, it will show up off and on. I'm curious what kind of fight they want this to be. It's going to be a long-ranged affair. Are we going to go something like a Byron that can cut off the healing from Jae Young, also outrange? Gus is somebody that shows up quite a bit on this map as well. I mean, a lot of our stereotypical ones are out of the way. Maybe a surprise thrower at the end, depending on what wall break compositions we do end up going here.
Back over to the Bounty Hunter side. As I said, these graphics are a little bit flipped, so slightly confusing. Apologies for that for the people watching at home. Ollie's going to come in then. We were questioning if they were going to go this aggressive route, and they do. And yet again, I like it. It seems when they kind of brought in that overwhelming HP against brawlers who couldn't deal with it, they did well. So why not try it twice?
I wonder if this is partially to take away from a Jae Young Ollie composition or something along those lines. Maybe they were thinking that would have been the priority of choice. And Squeak is a cutoff brawler as well. I wonder if they're looking out for something like a Buster here to combine with this Jae Young. It'd be really interesting now with a Squeak shot on the ground. Fans out, gets a little cutoff there. So the interaction with that Buster shield can be quite interesting sometimes.
Well, last brawler for Humble. They need to try and win this one and close it out in a 3-1, because if they let Bounty Hunters get their feet back in this game and get to a set 5, momentum's going to be fully with them. So it's a worrying thing for them. I'm sure they would have, like the rest of us, expected to come into this one, sweep it out, move on to the next. It's going to be a brawl that you've mentioned a few times. You kind of wanted it to show up here and there, but kind of had counters already on the table. But Meeple is going to be the last brawler rounding out Humble's composition, and I like it. I think it's very solid, very good at the moment, and a great shout.
Now, I think there's a fair gadget debate coming in from Brock as well. I think that's partially why teams are so proactive when drafting him. There's not a ton of wall break options. I mean, occasionally you'll see something crazy like a Griff, but it just doesn't feel like it meshes with the map nearly as well as these other brawlers. Bounty Hunters finally showing us a little bit of life. South America has been through the ringer in terms of the comments section for this community. The results have not been showing in recent years, and Bounty Hunters, the new SA #1, are trying to prove themselves on the opening match. It's Humble, an illustrious squad looking to maintain their resume, as Boss on this left-hand side is going to fight Prosy. A little over-aggressive, gonna have to back off. The extra speed and health will barely keep him alive.
Yeah, let's not forget it is rocket fuel coming in then for Luki, so doesn't have that escape method if Prosy wants to go towards him. So going to have to be very cautious. That pinch coming through now, and Prosy just looking for another super and gets it. Humble pinned back in the spawn for now, but Prosy taking a few shots. Great hypnotize, but just narrowly survives. And a big gadget needed from Semantic to keep him in the mix.
They've been on death's door, but Boss has barely kept them afloat. Now the extra speed going down on the right-hand side. Makes contact with 2 brawlers. That's devastating, as Luki's going to be pinned on this top right-hand side. The best thing that Bounty Hunters are doing right now, they have not allowed the other team to really move forward until they pick up a kill right there. Humble demonstrating the mechanics. Now Wesley left alone for this world on the right-hand side, and Portox, the squishy brawler, gonna have a tough time with all this.
I mean, how they can be in so many compromised positions and come out on top of this is crazy to me. Portox still got a chance here, but Semantic will hone that shot back onto him. Humble were in a tough position for a lot of that, but persevered.
Great recovery from Humble. I mean, there were multiple moments there where I thought Boss or Semantic were going to die. They're not the healthiest squad. Usually you're going to see Jae Young paired with these beefier brawlers to get the most out of it, but instead he's just barely holding on for his fellow brawlers. As Wesley now rotates to this left-hand side, going to be trying to outrange the Boss. Just a few shots going through as Luki going to post up on the right-hand side.
Well, more control for Humble this time. They were very much pinned in the back of the spawn last time. Super comes down from Semantic, and he's just going to go towards it. Yet another, oh, there's the super coming through, but he survives again. How did they keep on getting away with this?
They love calling it close as Prosy now dives to the left-hand in, but nowhere to go. Wesley gone as well as Portox works by himself. No point in fighting Destiny. Fog closing in as well, and Humble with an early match point.
I mean, I was ready for that to be an incredible play. I thought it was going to come in and find that shot. Unsure if it just didn't have the damage the Pierce shot, or if they just snuck a heal in there from the Jae Young. It's something we'll have to look back on, but I couldn't see it in the moment.
Great fight. But Bounty Hunters certainly down. This is a set that looks like they're not doing nearly as hot as we saw over in Brawl Balls. Prosy works the wall on this left-hand side. Semantic getting rather aggressive. Be careful, brother. They have that gadget. You've seen them use it multiple times, but somehow Boss just continues to keep his teammates alive. Jae Young certainly not a meta brawler, but Boss working it to perfection.
Yeah, I mean, on the right-hand side, too, you're looking at Luki against Wesley, and, you know, it's a sharpshooter matchup that Luki's, you know, probably brawler-wise, maybe not favoring him, but he really is good on these longer range brawlers. A little break coming through there as well, getting rid of some of the grass. Nowhere for Ollie to hide. They know where he is now. And Semantic getting hit hard, forcing a few heals out of Boss, which means they won't be fast for a while.
Boss has been exhausting shots left and right. Once again, preserves the life of Meeple, who's on the run right now. Prosy barely makes enough of a connection. It's going to keep Meeple alive for now as Wesley starts multitasking here. Here comes all the shells on the ground as Luki goes down. 3v2 situation. Boss clinging to the wall, activating gadget, gets the trade. This could be a close call, folks. 2v1 situation as Semantic is going for this. Activates the super, but it's a complete waste. Prosy had gadget in the back pocket. Don't love that choice.
Yeah, I mean, super, gadget, a lot of kit expended there by Semantic, who would have loved to have them for this round, I'm sure, especially with that hypercharge available now. But he's back at square one in terms of supercharge. I think he got a couple of hits in, so can't be masses off. There's a gadget coming through from Prosy as well, but over aggression, surely he goes down, and he does. It's a 2v2, but Semantic out in the open will be found. And Rocket Fuel hits Portox and through the wall. Luki trying to get the job done. Hypercharge rolling on in, but he misses half of it.
Portox now on the back heel. Sharpshooter versus the squishy man on the bottom right of your screen. It's a 1v1 straight up, but surely a rocket launcher can deal with the squeak ball here on the bottom of the map.
Coming back up now, gaining some ground. Lukey having to give way, but there's the rocket fuel as well. Keeps him low and keeps him pinned in this bottom left. A few more connections are found, but Squeak massively outranged and down to one shot.
Lukey playing this rather patient. Warthog's doing his best to dodge, activate super, but not enough. Humble now 1 round away.
Well, big, decisive round. Humble just 1 away from winning this game and moving on to the next group stage game. Wesley getting hit hard on the right-hand side by Lukey, again just dominating that matchup. They're going to need something from Prosy. There's the super coming out from Squeak, and it clips Semantic, bringing him down a little bit, but still so healthy with Jae Young in his back. There's the kill opener for Humble to go and finish this one out.
Floodgates have opened, purple buttons have been popped, and Wesley being backed up. Warthog's doing the best he can. Gadget goes down for Boss. Semantic now letting loose with a super, and in the 3v1, he knows there's not a chance of a comeback. Brawls, defending champions, back on top. Another day in the office for Humble.
It was a big ask for Bounty Hunters, and for most, they've done better than expected. Getting a set on the board, having a good fight against the reigning champions of the Brawl Cup is a big thing, and I think it gives them promise going forward into the next group stage games.
I think a lot of us, and especially fans at home, you saw it in the poll vote. A lot of people expect Humble reasonably to come out on top here, but A0 is much more manageable, I think, in terms of expectations. This is a region that thrilled last year. It's going to be an interesting group stage, but I can't wait to see how it goes down. Let's go over to Barney and check out our winners.
Here we go, Humble doing humble things once again, the crowd.
Ohne German LAN, einfach unfassbar. Danke an alle, die hier sind. Yeah, the preparation, of course, first match, you might say there's the most nerves on that team. I might say it's fine, we LAN warriors, we know what we do with. We did drop a set, which was not according to our plan, but we will learn from that and come back stronger for the next games.
Yeah, we've got to talk a little bit about, I mean, a hot topic coming into this was, of course, your April monthly final. That was like a blip on the road, wasn't it? But then you step out onto the LAN environment, onto the main stage, and it's like you guys turn into a different team altogether. Is there something about performing on LAN for you guys that just dials you up to 11?
I'm gonna look straight to my coach, who is not participating in the boot camps of our monthly finals, and gonna blame all him.
Do you have something to say about that? No, that's fair. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Now, before I let you go, just one final question. Your next opponent, you've got a little break now, but your next opponent's going to be A0, a team that's probably quite difficult for you guys to prepare for, just considering they're not in the same region as you, they play in their own thing. How has that been? Have you managed to scrim them a lot coming into this, and how's the confidence?
We don't scrim them since they're in our group stage, so we actually don't know how good they are. We will not underestimate them by any means. We will give our best, play our comfort brawlers, and see how it goes.
That is the perfect answer. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time for Humble!
Thank you, Barney, and thank you for this beautiful applause from the home crowd. Humble looked super confident here. We had Kenny during his cast even saying, just another day at the office for them. Well, they did lose a set though, Kenny.
I think it's still fine. Look, it's the opening match of the day, the weekend. These guys dropped 2 sets in total at last Brawl Cup. That's one, folks, so now I'm going to be on the lookout. They only get one more.
What stood out to you specifically?
I think for me, the flaws in Bounty Hunter's approach to the draft, because we were saying on the desk going into that first matchup, this is the comp that Humble want, and they cannot allow that to happen inside of Bounty Hunters, and every single brawler was one that we discussed. You know, I said going into that match that they kind of had to have been hoping for that to be the case and have a plan in the back pocket. They did, but they did show up. It was just a little bit too late going into the match. So going into this match against A0, they need to kick things off faster. They cannot afford to be behind and you know, playing into the wind.
We even discussed it during the draft that Ruff's first pick was a dead giveaway, that they wanted to pick up Pierce for Loki once again. Then the next set that followed, Humble won again. In Brawl Ball, they looked a bit shaky, Kenny. What happened there?
It was a bit shaky, and honestly, it caught me off guard. A very unorthodox go there, but the Buster gameplay was unbelievable. It was a composition I didn't really feel like was going to work, but it was a surprise pick, and I think that's what you got to do if you're bounty hunters. When we get to this later down the road of bounty hunters in A0, expect this to be just crazy. I have no idea what to expect. 2 contrasting regions, 2 very different styles of gameplay in a brawler pool that is not the same.
For the underdog team, you usually want to surprise your opponent so they are not ready for it. Now, in our next match, we have a bit of a dark horse, maybe. We don't really know what they like to draft because China usually plays on their own version of the game. This is really hard also for us casters to prepare. We don't have too many stats of their monthly finals. We just know they won 3 times despite never having played on a global stage. A0 actually beat the favorite of that region, Toxic Lotus, that we've seen absolutely pop off last year.
Yeah, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Every single monthly final, A0 laid down the gauntlet against the team that have been dominating the Chinese mainland region for years, literally years. And, you know, it's been really interesting to watch how this squad fare because, again, as Sunny says, we don't know necessarily how they're preparing going in terms of their draft and their playstyle, but they said on record that what gives them the edge is that they've got a really strong mental. Well, bringing that to the world stage has never been more important as far as that's concerned. And these aren't strangers by any means at all. You know, players like Galaxy who were in the mainland Chinese, finals last year, came 4th place, so just narrowly missing out. And as well, Nagi too. He actually qualified for the LCQ back in 2024.
So with match 1 out of the way, we're staying in Group A and we're going over to the second match of the day. Bounty Hunters versus A0. We already teased one of those 2 teams a little bit. We've already seen Bounty Hunters play on stage today already. What does A0 have to do to beat Bounty Hunters today?
I think just play their game. I feel like this is going to be a very fair fight. I think there's a lot of contrasting views on this region. It's one of my favorite things that we have at the mid-year. Let's get a checkup on all these regions. Let's see how they're doing. And especially with a squad that's beaten Toxic Lotus 3 times, my gut is saying they're better than people realize. I think they're still not regarded on the home turf in conversations I've had as the best team, but clearly they're doing something right. And at some point, results have to speak for itself. We'll find out if Toxic Lotus are built for this tomorrow, but for right now, I think A0 are going to make this a very good contest.
On the side of Bounty Hunters, we have Wesley and Prosy, already with some LAN experience. This isn't their first ride on a global stage. And then we have Portox, no LAN experience whatsoever. Now looking at the other side, A0, I don't see any LAN experience from any of these players.
Nope, none at all. And that is going to be a real testament to how they approach this here today. And for Bounty Hunters, though, especially, the pressure is on them now. Having lost that game, this is make or break now. Of course, the big announcement for Bounty Hunters was Sebas joining them, which now is going to have to really prove its value in gold, right? He's going to bring all that draft knowledge to ensure the survivability of South America in Group A.
You talked about the mental for a team like A0, and I think it's interesting because I could see this going one of 2 ways. Either they're going to be dealing with a lot of pressure, or they're going to treat it like their monthly finals. No pressure at all. Toxic Lotus have had the responsibility for being the pioneers of this region. They respect them, they've talked about it. They still don't feel like they're legitimate until they prove it on this stage. And I think they have a great opportunity to do so. Even just beating a team like Bounty Hunters, a #1 from another region, immediately puts you on the map.
So we now have a new team step up onto the stage. A0, the unpredictable global wildcard.
New ruler in Chinese mainland, David, Galaxy, and Nagi won all 3 monthly finals. Despite their flawless resume, A0 will be surrounded by question marks as they take the stage. They've delivered in every match so far, but Brawl Cup's competition is a massive step up, and it's the team's first international tournament. In Group A alone, A0 are tasked with 2025's runner-up and South America's top trio. Reigning from home is difficult enough, but to overthrow global conquerors is a whole nother level. If you were impressed by Chinese mainland's Cinderella run last year, there's no reason you shouldn't believe in A0, especially considering they've smacked Toxic Lotus 3 times already this season. Their lack of experience won't make them favorites on paper, but Chinese mainland has improved each year, and all signs point to them being the best from their region. Are A0 just Chinese mainland merchants, or is there more to these rising talents?
A0, as I said, kind of a wild card. We don't really know what to expect from them. We only know they beat Toxic Lotus consistently in their home region. And Toxic Lotus was already a huge surprise last year at this exact event at Brawl Cup.
Oh, I remember it well. I predicted them against Satan Division, and that was a bold thing to do, and I was rooting for them. I think everyone really was